From the outside, the structure looked like it was holding its breath. The windows were narrow like watching eyes, the bricks mottled with age, and vines clutched the walls like desperate skeletal fingers. Inside, the air was colder than the weather outside. It was still heavy. The entrance hall was lined with wood paneling, carved in strange swirling patterns that almost looked like faces, twisted faces. With open mouths, Mira, the real estate agent, touched one gently. The wood was smooth, but warm. Too warm, she pulled her hand back, unnerved. Her footsteps echoed unnaturally, as though the walls were repeating them a second later, quieter and weaker, like fading memories. Every house has a sound. This one had memory. She began her work, photographing the rooms, the kitchen, the dining hall, the long empty corridors. Everything was predictable, almost boring, until she reached the basement stairs. As she leaned forward to snap a picture, she heard it, a faint, soft whisper rising from below. Help! Mira froze. She strained her ears, listening harder. Nothing. Then again, barely audible. Still here. She stepped back from the stairs, her throat tight. There was no wind, no pipes, no open windows. Someone had whispered. She left every single light on after that. That night, she researched the property. The house had belonged to the Curran family, wealthy, respected, and extremely private. 12 years ago, one by one, the family disappeared. Mother, father, and their young daughter, all vanished within weeks. No bodies, no signs of struggle. The doors were locked from the inside. The police eventually gave up the investigation. The neighbors just said the house took them. Myra shut her laptop. Rumors, urban legends. She didn't believe in such things, but she did believe in the voice she'd heard. The next day she returned, determined to finish her job quickly. As she walked the hallway, the wood-paneled walls seemed somehow different, smoother, more defined. Some of the carved faces now looked like they were screaming silently into the gloom. Just shadows, she told herself. Just her imagination. She raised her phone to take another photo. Tap. Something touched the back of her neck. She spun around. Nothing but the walls. The walls sounded like they were breathing. She had to record the basement. Buyers always asked for full documentation. With the flashlight trembling in her hand, she descended the old wooden steps. The air in the basement was even colder, thick and metallic, like the smell just before rain. It was empty except for one thing. A section of the wall was darker than the rest, nearly black, smudged and uneven. It looked burned. She moved closer. The texture was wrong. It was soft, like dried wax. She touched it lightly and screamed. The wall moved under her finger, like skin. She stumbled backward, tripping over a pile of old fabric. No, not fabric. Clothes. Children's clothes. Folded neatly, too neatly. Still here. The whisper rose again, clearer this time, coming from behind the wall. Mira scrambled backward toward the stairs, her heart pounding in her chest. A dull thumping sound started from behind that darkened section. Slow, rhythmic thump, thump, like someone knocking, no like someone trying to get out. She fled upstairs, gasping for breath. But as she ran back into the hallway, she froze. All along the walls, the carved faces were no longer twisted randomly. Now they were all clear expressions of pure terror. Eyes wide, mouths stretched. screams etched permanently into the wood. And then faintly, she heard it. Not a whisper, multiple voices, muffled screams, coming from inside the walls. Dozens of them, layered, overlapping, a chorus of trapped agony. Her blood ran icy. No rumor could explain this. These weren't ghosts. These were memories. The mansion had absorbed them, devoured them, and it remembered their final moments. Mira ran for the front door, locked. She tried the study window. It wouldn't budge. The house had sealed itself. The screaming from the walls grew louder, more frantic, as though sensing fresh terror to feed on. She backed down the corridor, covering her ears as the wood paneling began to ripple. Actual ripples, like something underneath was pushing out. A handprint bloomed on the wall, pressing from the inside, dragging slowly across the wood. Mira sobbed, stumbling into the living room as the door slammed shut behind her. She was trapped. In the center of the room sat an old wooden chest. It hadn't been there earlier. When she opened it, a thick, cold, sweet, rotten smell hit her. Inside were dozens of small objects. A hair ribbon, a broken watch, a child's shoes, a silver locket, a pair of glasses, all tagged with little paper notes. But the last item made her blood freeze. A photograph. Her photograph, taken earlier that day, was labeled Mira Youssef Next. The house didn't just kill. It collected souvenirs, memories, people, and the walls remembered every scream. The lights went out, pitch black. She heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, moving toward her. The walls trembled, hungry, eager. Mira bolted for the corner, clutching the flashlight. She aimed it, and the beam flickered on. The walls were bulging, hands pushing through, faces stretching out of the wood, mouths silently shrieking. Human forms pressed beneath the surface, trying to claw their way out, trying to escape, trying to warn her. Her scream tore through the room and the walls inhaled. Everything collapsed inward. Darkness swallowed her. Her voice was the last thing she heard, echoing, fading, weakening as it joined the others. The walls remembered it. 2 days later, another real estate agent arrived to check on the listing. As she walked through the hall, she noticed new engravings in the wood paneling. A fresh face, eyes wide, mouth open in an eternal silent scream. The newest memory. The house was listening again, waiting, hungry, and the walls. The walls would never forget.